Imagine leading the world's greatest empire while facing three devastating crises at once. A deadly plague decimating your people, brutal wars at the borders, and a silent political betrayal at the heart of the Senate. Any ordinary leader would have crumbled. But Marcus Aurelius had a powerful weapon, a single Stoic principle that guided him when everything seemed to be falling apart. What makes Marcus Aurelius unique in history is not just his power as an emperor, but his ability to maintain a clear mind amid utter chaos. During the Antonine Plague, as thousands died each day, he also led desperate military campaigns against barbarian tribes along the Danube. And, as if that weren't enough, he faced conspiracies from senators plotting his downfall. Yet, instead of collapsing under the weight of these crises, he turned to a simple but transformative principle that redefined his leadership and ensured Rome's survival. We all face moments when it feels like the world is falling apart around us. Whether at work, at home, or in personal struggles, we wonder, how can I keep going? Marcus Aurelius, a man who carried the fate of millions on his shoulders, found strength in a philosophy that not only saved him, but continues to inspire leaders today. Imagine the impact that this same principle could have on your own life. But what exactly was this principle? How did it turn critical decisions into victories, even in the face of the impossible? And why did it become the cornerstone of resilience during one of the darkest moments in Roman history? In this video, you'll discover how Marcus Aurelius applied this principle to each of the crises he faced, and how you can use it to tackle today's challenges. In today's video, we'll dive into the three simultaneous crises that nearly brought the Roman Empire to its knees, and how Marcus Aurelius, with Stoic serenity, made decisions that shaped the course of history. You'll learn the principle he used to turn chaos into strategy, and why he remains a timeless model of leadership and resilience. If you want to learn how a 2,000-year-old philosophy can help you overcome modern challenges and discover the true strength of a leader, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Your support helps us share inspiring stories like this with more people. Imagine a world on the brink of collapse, disease spreading faster than hope, enemies pressing in on every side, and whispers of betrayal poisoning the air of the very halls meant to safeguard a nation. This was the reality Marcus Aurelius faced, not as a mere man, but as the leader of the Roman Empire. At the heart of these crises, three distinct threats loomed: the devastating Antonine Plague, barbarian invasions at the empire's borders, and political conspiracies festering within the Senate. Any other ruler might have broken under the pressure, but Marcus possessed a weapon forged not of steel, but of thought, Stoicism. The Antonine Plague was not just a disease, it was a harbinger of despair. Tens of thousands perished daily, the cities turned into silent graveyards, and morale among soldiers and citizens alike crumbled. In the face of this epidemic, Marcus refused to surrender to chaos. Instead, he turned his focus inward, asking, "What can be done within my control?" This principle, simple in theory yet profound in practice, would become his guiding light. The immediate challenge was to preserve order while maintaining hope. He ensured resources were allocated to the sick, not merely as a logistical move, but as a symbol of resilience. Simultaneously, the northern borders were under siege. Barbarian tribes saw opportunity in Rome's weakness, their relentless attacks threatening to fracture the empire. Yet, Marcus approached these invaders with a curious mix of strategy and serenity. Where others might have rushed into reckless warfare, he prioritized diplomacy to buy time, redirecting his energies to fortify defenses and restructure the Roman army. This balance between immediate action and long-term strategy hinted at a deeper truth. The power to adapt lies in recognizing what truly matters. But how could such an approach hold against betrayal within Rome's very walls? How does a leader reconcile external threats with the silent daggers aimed at their back? Political conspiracies are a different beast, intangible yet devastating. Marcus Aurelius knew that the Senate, once a bastion of Roman virtue, was riddled with individuals plotting for personal gain. Yet his response was neither vengeful nor impulsive. Guided by his Stoic principle, He understood that the actions of others lay beyond his control, but his response to them did not. Rather than seek retribution, Marcus worked to solidify alliances and diffuse tension with diplomacy, recognizing that unity, even when tenuous, was a necessity. This restraint showcased the paradox at the heart of his leadership: the ability to act decisively while remaining grounded in calm reflection. In one notable instance, he refused to eliminate a known conspirator, opting instead to expose their motives through public action. Such decisions preserved the empire's stability while reinforcing Marcus's reputation as a leader who placed the collective above personal vengeance. Yet, it raised another question: could this delicate balance hold indefinitely? Meanwhile, the Antonine Plague continued its relentless march. But Marcus, having accepted the uncontrollable nature of the disease, shifted focus to the morale of his people. He penned meditations during this time, words of wisdom meant to inspire resilience not just for himself, but for all who might read them. His ability to merge personal philosophy with public leadership created a blueprint for enduring crises. Still, every move brought new challenges, each demanding an evolution of thought. How could this measured response be applied to the chaos of war at the empire's edges? Could his philosophy endure when faced with the raw brutality of battlefields and ever-encroaching destruction? As the Roman Empire's borders were battered by barbarian forces, Marcus Aurelius found himself forced to face the raw chaos of war. The tribes along the Danube River, emboldened by Rome's internal struggles, launched relentless assaults. For most rulers, this would have been a moment of desperation, a call to arms that could drain resources and morale. But Marcus saw it differently. Instead of viewing the conflict solely as a threat, he recognized an opportunity to reshape the military and strengthen the empire from within. One of his most decisive moves was reorganizing the Roman legions. He shifted from a defensive strategy to a mobile, adaptable force capable of countering the fluid and unpredictable tactics of the barbarian tribes. This approach, however, wasn't purely tactical. It reflected his stoic commitment to focusing on controllable factors. While the enemy's strength and aggression were beyond his power to change, Marcus focused on what he could shape: the discipline, training, and morale of his soldiers. This principle allowed him to instill unity and purpose in his army even amidst the chaos of war. But military strength alone would not suffice. Marcus sought diplomatic solutions when possible, forging temporary truces to redirect his efforts where they were most needed. These negotiations weren't born of weakness, but of strategic foresight. By choosing to conserve resources and maintain stability, Marcus exemplified a leader who understood the value of timing. He knew that every decision on the battlefield had ripple effects far beyond the immediate conflict. Yet, with each calculated move, another question arose: how would he balance the demands of war while safeguarding the empire's heart? The answer lay not just in strategy, but in resilience. As Rome's borders held steady under his leadership, the shadow of internal instability loomed larger. With the barbarians pushed back, Marcus turned his gaze inward, preparing to confront the more insidious threats posed by those who sought to undermine his vision for a united empire. Could his philosophy hold firm against these subtler, more personal battles? Within the walls of Rome, the true test of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy unfolded. Betrayal, jealousy, and political strife threatened to destabilize the empire just as much as external enemies had. The Senate, filled with individuals vying for power, became a battlefield of its own. Unlike swords and shields, this conflict required a different kind of strength, one that demanded patience, foresight, and unwavering conviction. Marcus confronted these challenges with the same stoic principles that had guided him through war and plague. He refused to retaliate impulsively, instead choosing to lead by example. His ability to rise above petty rivalries and focus on Rome's greater good earned him respect even from those who opposed him. By maintaining transparency and holding steadfast to his ideals, he showed that true power lies not in domination, but in consistency and integrity. One of his most notable strategies was creating policies that outlasted his reign. While others might have sought short-term gains, Marcus laid the foundation for long-term stability, ensuring that Rome could endure even after his time. His meditations, written during these turbulent years, became a reflection of his internal struggle, a guide not only for himself, but for all who sought clarity in chaos. Yet, even as he stabilized the empire, the cost of his leadership began to show. The toll of leading through such crises weighed heavily on Marcus Aurelius. His health declined, and the pressures of ruling an empire under constant threat never abated. Still, his legacy was clear, a model of resilience and wisdom in the face of unimaginable adversity. But as history looks back on his reign, one lingering question remains. What can we truly learn from Marcus Aurelius, and how might his principles shape the leaders of tomorrow? Marcus Aurelius's resilience through betrayal and political strife has shown us the power of integrity and unwavering leadership. But what happens when a leader is faced with not just crisis, but the ultimate temptation of power itself? Discover the story of Germanicus, the general who quelled a mutiny and turned down the imperial crown to save Rome. Click now to uncover how his choices reshaped the empire and defined what it truly means to lead in times of chaos.